All right. Rock and rolling, people. I know rock and roll is the other side of the thing, but welcome to the Off the Rails Sports Podcast. We're going to do a little recap of opening day of baseball. And it was truly a magnificent Thursday in the world of sports. Arkansas lost a heartbreaker to Texas Tech. Alabama pulled away. Florida pulled away. Duke pulled away. That Arkansas game was just magnificent. They were up by 16 points. Didn't quite work out. Texas Tech actually was the better team, I guess, but that's how it went. In the NBA, we're not going to really get to it too much, but that was just an amazing game between the Bulls and the Lakers. The Lakers were up by 5 points with, I believe, 13 seconds left. The Bulls scored 6 points in 7 seconds. And then the Lakers scored another basket. And Josh Gidney hit a half quarter at the buzzer over LeBron James to win it by 2. It was literally like a video game. It was a wonderful game. So much excitement. Lakers played their hearts out. They lost. That happens. Sorry, I'm not a Laker fan, so I don't really care about that. You know, we can all work that out in therapy. But if you could, first of all, before we talk about the therapy, hit that like and subscribe button. Leave some comments. I'm going to talk about opening day. I'm going to talk about what's going on in the world of baseball. It's going to be a couple days till I'm back with my brother Brian. And I did get a comment that said he looked really cool when he's doing the podcast in his truck. And he does look cool. He actually looks cooler than I do when I'm all prepped up. And that's disconcerting, but I'm not going to tell him that. So the Dodgers, the biggest, baddest team in baseball, biggest salary, World Series champions, they opened it up, and they opened it up right. Like I've said, I don't like the Dodgers. I'm a Red Sox fan. I live in LA. I got to put up with those insufferable people. But man, I got to give the devil his due. Unbelievable what they did. First of all, you're in LA with all the star power. They brought in Ice Cube. Got his, I think, 64 Impala. Drove it around. Brought in the World Series championship trophy. Team was there. The team came in from center field. It was amazing. It wasn't, we're just going to sit there on the chalk. We're going to, have the announcer bring us in. Ohtani came in, didn't even mention that he was the reigning NL MVP. I would assume that was ran by him. He probably wanted to just be part of the team. I didn't hear any individual accolades like World Series MVP, NLCS, anything like that. This team is built for speed, people. They're doing it right. They're making the culture right. And the two biggest moves they've made for the franchise in the last 5 years were getting lucky and not signing Anthony Rendon, and Atlanta not coming up with the money and re-signing Freddie Freeman where he wanted to go, and the Dodgers were able to swoop in. The Dodgers did a beautiful tribute to Freddie. His son, had some serious medical issues last year. I guess it was kind of touch and go. Thank God he's okay. The community surrounded him. They celebrated him. They celebrated his family on the field right before first pitch. And honestly, that's the kind of culture you want to build. You want to build a legacy, that's what you do. You show the players you really care. I mean, look, the money matters. It does, okay? But, they were talking in the booth, Carl Ravitch and David Cohn and Eduardo Perez, which I'm going to get to in a minute. They were talking about Blake Snell as a West Coast guy. His wife is from Los Angeles, and that they speculated he took less money to come to Los Angeles. He probably did. I'm sure he didn't take that much less, but, at the end of the day, signed for $180 million. Some of it's deferred. The team is just doing it all right. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a day when it comes on the downside. They are an older roster. But man, they took on Skubal, who I think is the best pitcher in the majors, and they came away with a W. Being in the LA market, I had the pleasure and the privilege of listening to Vin Scully for all those years. And like I said, I hate the Dodgers. But Vin Scully was just he was Michelangelo, right, with a microphone. And then he left. He retired. And Joe Davis came in. And Joe Davis is unbelievable. You probably have seen him if you're not in the LA market. He does quite a bit of NFL football. I think he's on the third team for Fox. And that guy is going to be the number one football announcer. He is. The guy is just smooth on smooth. He is just really, really good. And the lament I had was I had to watch this game, and I have to watch Karl Ravech, David Cone, and Edward Perez instead of listening to Joe Davis. Oh, God. So Karl Ravech, I just can't handle him. I mean, he thinks everything he says is funny, and it's not. And he's an idiot, and then he just becomes a bigger idiot. You know, there was a play in the middle of the game where the Detroit center fielder, Rigler, caught a long line drive. And Margot from right field was coming over. He was about 8 feet, 10 feet away from him. And the center fielder, Rigler, caught it for Detroit, was up against the fence. And Margot was there. And then Karl Ravech goes, Margot caught it. And I was like, what? What's he talking about? And what had happened was Rigler caught it. He sat at the fence for about 10 seconds, and then he threw the ball over to Margot, and then Margot threw it back into the infield, right? Karl Ravech is like, oh, yeah, I think he caught it. I think he caught it. Margot caught it. I'm like, how do you miss that? I mean, you know, Stevie Wonder could have saw that. You know, what the fuck is that? And then we get David Cone. And I don't know which Disney executive he married his daughter. He married the daughter or something. Because that guy's just terrible. I mean, he is just terrible. He brings no insight. Like, Karl Ravech is going, yeah, this is the first team that can repeat maybe since you guys did it in 98, 99. Karl set him up, and David didn't take the bait. He's like, yeah. He goes, yeah, you're right. Why don't you tell us what you went through to repeat? Why don't you give us some insight? Something that the average fan wouldn't do. And then Karl said, man, you know, since you guys repeated, this team is the most loaded. This is the best team that's had a chance to repeat. And David Cone goes, well, you know, I really can't speak to that. I don't know. And I'm like, you can't make an opinion? They're paying you X amount of money to make opinions. Okay? You're not Dr. Fauci. You're not doing stuff that's life and death. You can make an opinion like, yeah, this is the most talented team that's went for back-to-back since we did it. I don't really think that's too out of line, but okay. You know? Eduardo Perez, oh my God. You know, this guy is just hanging on by his fingernails to keep his analyst job. You know, there was a scene in there with the second baseman. He was questioning his spikes, and he goes, I don't know if he has the plastic spikes or he has the metal spikes. I don't know. They look like little baby teeth. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay, just make a pick, and let's just not show the pitcher. It doesn't really matter. And at the end of the day, the Dodgers were triumphant. It was a nice home opener. They kept saying the season opener. They played 2 games last week in Japan to overwhelming crowds. And actually, the national pastime might be moving over to Japan to be the national pastime. And look, at the end of the day, I like building the base. It doesn't always have to be in America. The NBA's done a really good job circumventing the NFL and growing it in China and the Asian theater and Europe. All right, we're going to go over some of the other games that happened. Tomorrow we're probably going to, or later today, I guess, we're going to talk with Scott maybe about some hockey. I miss talking about hockey with him. Yankees, 4-2 over the Brewers. Chourio, 5 strikeouts. You know, they had the tying run on base on second base in the ninth inning. Didn't quite get there. Orioles 12-2 over the Blue Jays. O'Neill for the Orioles extended his opening day home run streak to 6 games. Wow. You know, you want a little info? Go to FanDuel, go to, DraftKings and bet him to hit a home run on the opening day. Seems like it's money in the bank, right? Boston, 5-2 winners over Texas. Abreu hit a 3-run homer in the ninth. Miami, 5-4 over Pittsburgh. Skeens, 5.1 innings, 2 earned runs. Miami won. Wow. San Francisco, 6-4 over Cincinnati. Wilmer Flores hit a 3-run jack in the ninth to win the game. Giants are off to a 1-0 start. White Sox, they're going to crush that 41 number this year. 8-1 winners over the Angels. And being in the LA market, the Angels, they just are like a rudderless ship. And one of the things they do is they get a good rookie and they bring him up way too quick. They think everybody's going to be Mike Trout. And Joe Adell, if they would have gave him a year in the minors, I think he could have been a really good major leaguer. Now his confidence is shot. You know, it's like going back to your ex. Nobody's doing it. They are going to send him down this year because he just can't hit the curveball. Willie Mo Pena from back in the day, he can't hit the curveball. He can't hit the off-speed ball. He could crush the fastball, but nobody's going to be feeding him that. Ohapi, I don't know. I just think that, it's just way too early. I wish they gave him another year of seasoning. Ryan Johnson, they touted him because there was no minor time. 1.2 innings today, 5 earned runs. He got rocked. The first inning, he got out unscathed. The second one, they found him. They found him hard. Cleveland, 7-4 winners over Kansas City. Quan, 2-for-4, started out. Boy, that guy is back. That guy is an animal. Houston, 3-1. Hader strikes out Soto with 2 on in the ninth. Yep, that's how it goes. Welcome, Mets. It's going to be a long year. Cubs, 10-8 over Arizona. Pardon me. Mariners, 4-2 over the Athletics. That's your recap of opening day. You know, it was nice to see the Dodgers really celebrate and really get the crowd into it. I watched the New York thing. It was okay. It wasn't anything special. And I wish more stadiums would do what the Dodgers did. I mean, the Dodgers can pull it off because they're the Dodgers. I mean, how's Chicago going to pull it off? Oh, we won 41 games. Hey, let's go. Free whiskey all around. Maybe that get the crowd going. Who knows, right? It was nice to see, though. I'm glad to see baseball back. I missed it a lot. If you could, hit the subscribe and like button. Leave a comment. It means a lot to us. And we will be back later with Scott for the motorsports preview this weekend, a little hockey, and whatever else comes into our minds. All right, I'll talk to you soon.